Hello, my friends. Michelle Keneally here. How's it going? I am so excited. I haven't done a Make New Friends Friday in a while, and tonight um, I am going to be interviewing my friend who is celebrating her 1 year anniversary as a digital nomad. And for those of you that do not know what a digital nomad is, you're going to find out. So I cannot wait for you to meet my friend Kendra and to celebrate tonight. Hooray, or in the morning, wherever, it depends on where you are in the world. Hey, Jamie. So as you get live, make sure you are saying hello. Hi.
Xin ciao.
I'm going to assume that means hello.
Yes. That's I only know two words in Vietnamese, which is super embarrassing, but it's so hard. Xin ciao and come on is thank you. So at least I
Oh,
can be sort of polite. But I'm probably even saying that wrong because it's all about like the tone, which, I repeat it right back to people and then they go, no, no, no. And I'm like, yes, that's what I'm saying.
this is how I understand it to be.
Right.
So, my friends, for those of you that do not know Kendra, I just want you to meet her. She is my business partner, and
Yay.
she has an anniversary that came yesterday. And so I didn't want to interrupt her celebration in real life, but I wanted to do it today here and just say congratulations on your 1 year anniversary of being a digital nomad.
Yay!
Yay!
Cheers! Cheers with a protein
Cheers!
shake.
Yes! Cheers! Fist stick. Ready?
Clink.
Clink. Okay, so Kendra, I'll give you guys a little backstory on Kendra. She actually, why don't I let you tell the story? Let's bring us up to date. Bring us up to date on how you decided to become what is a digital nomad number one? Should we start there? Is that a good
Right.
spot?
It's funny. That is definitely the term. And like anything, any label, some digital nomads are like, I hate that term. I'm like, well, it describes what we do. We are nomads in that we move around and usually it's at a slower pace. It's not the like 10 countries in 5 days, right?
Yeah.
Um, And so I personally aim to be in a place at least a month, although my ideal is 2 to 3 months. And how I'm there is to be working online. And so it's obviously it's mostly online, right? People are either teaching English or, there's all sorts of things. And when I say I'm a health coach, I teach nutrition. And then people are like, where? And I said, well, online, like whoever I talk to. And, most of our businesses are done like this on video now and email and phone calls. So it really doesn't matter where you are. So yeah, there's a whole revolution of people working remote. There was actually a couple that I met here in Vietnam at the co-working space, and they have a company called Remote How, and it's to teach companies how to facilitate their employees to be remote. And they had a national or international work from home day. So it's really, there's all sorts of companies in place and services and co-working spaces that are serving our community, which is pretty cool to be a part of.
So cool. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you decided that you were going to take your business on the road and
On the
travel the
road.
world instead
Mm-hmm.
of, you know, well, you were a personal trainer for quite some time. So tell
Yes.
us, and you were a dancer. You were a dancer.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, dance and fitness definitely has been my background dance since I was a little kid, but in my career, I became a personal trainer pretty quickly out of college. And I
Mm-hmm.
did that purely not because I was super passionate about it at the time, but purely because I figured out I couldn't work in an office. I couldn't work with all the rules and you have to be back by whenever. And even though you worked late last night, you have to come in early in the morning. It's like, no. So even
Yeah.
at the tender age of 23, I knew that I needed to be out and about in the world. So yeah, I did personal training, professional dancing, and lived in Southern California, I lived back in San Francisco, and I started building the current nutrition business 9 years ago. So when I was still dancing, and yeah, someone asked me about my epiphany of what made, how did this come about? Well, I had a big birthday with 0 on it a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago. And I took myself on a sabbatical. And it's funny because I was teaching fitness at Adobe corporate office in San Francisco. And if they work 5 years, they get a 4-week sabbatical. So everyone takes a month off and goes to travel or whatever. And so after, hearing about that, I was like, sabbatical, cool. I could do that. So no one can give me a sabbatical because I work for myself. So I said, great.
Took one.
For my big birthday, I am going to go to Cabo San Lucas and rent a condo on the beach and invite my friends and family to come down for part of it. And I did it for 6 weeks. And in that process, I was working remotely, although not as much because it was around the holidays and my birthday. So I did a bunch more celebrating back then. But I met some digital nomads. Some were doing different things where they were working seasonally, and then for the rest, the other half of the year, they were traveling around. And so I've always been a traveler, and I've backpacked in Europe and that sort of thing. And so that's been a big passion. But having a job where I have to show up in the gym every Monday at noon or whatever the thing is, or 6 a.m., heaven forbid, I was tied to that schedule and still had to get subs. And of course, if I'm sick or I miss, I just don't get paid, right, within that situation. So I don't know. I just decided, I had a big loss in my life. And, when you see people die too soon, in their 30s or 40s or whatever age, you realize, okay, whatever the thing you've been thinking about, now is a good time, right? I've been joking, although it's pretty, maybe not. I've been joking about a tattoo that says, why not now? And that's, that's kind of the basis of the thing. It's like, I've been wanting to do that. There's so many places in the world I want to see. And why not now? Why not, so a few months later, put my notice in my apartment, and I had told all my fitness places that I was moving on. And then I started pouring myself more into, the nutrition online business, knowing that this would give me an income to stay afloat. And, it wasn't all, you always have that thing, okay, I'm going to make this much and I'm going to do it. It's all going to be organized. No, there's been some big leap of faith and wing of prayer or whatever you say to make it happen. But it was compelling enough that I was like, I want to be a part of this, and I don't want to be 60 or 70. I heard some comedian one time talk about, and you should travel anytime. So I don't mean to poo-poo on retired age people at all. But it's like, if you wait till you're retired to travel, all you're going to be doing is looking for a bathroom somewhere around the world. And for some people, that's the case. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah. So many of my friends, I'm seeing more and more take the leap, and people who I've met who have decided like they didn't want the house anymore. They didn't want the typical 9-to-5 job, and they decided they're going to sell their house and they're going to go live in hostels, or just kind of backpack their way through the world. And I just find that completely fascinating. A lot of my friends have purchased tiny houses and just have chosen an alternative lifestyle. And I think that these days we're really pushing the status quo and seeing what is possible for ways of, living your life and creating a living. And instead of just working for a paycheck, living in the here and now. And I think that's completely incredible to see people doing this. And I don't know if anyone who's watching this has witnessed the same thing. Let me know in the comments if you have seen people doing alternative means of, living their life and traveling, and the way they do their income and their jobs. And you've wondered for yourself, well, how do they do it? How is this possible? How is this possible? And I know Kendra, as you have done this, you've met so many people who are doing different things around the world. And
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, it's probably because it's around a talent or a skill that they have and something that they like doing. But it affords them a lifestyle, for what it is that they want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing like a ton of people doing things like this. Um, so tell us a little bit about your vision as far as now, 1 year later, as you've been doing this and you've traveled to many places so far. What is your vision going into the next year, and what do you see yourself doing?
Yeah, and I just want to touch on what you were saying about what people are doing. Online marketing is at the base of everybody. So you can still have your niche in your industry. I actually met a guy from the Bay Area, actually, where I'm from, and he has he owns a bed bug killing company, like a pest control company. And he obviously
Mm-hmm.
has partners and guys that are actually the ones going into the house and killing the bed bugs. It was gross. I learned all sorts of stuff about bed bugs. Um, and he does all of the, online referrals and connecting the message, making sure that people's information, requests are sent to the proper person. So here he is in Vietnam running a bed bug service, which you think that there's no way that can be remote. Well, his position can be remote. So it doesn't matter what your passion or industry is, there's a version of it that can exist, online. And maybe, I know some people that work corporate hours, and so they have to work until 4 in the morning or something, and they sleep, so sometimes it's like that. I can't do that because I'm such a sleeper. I'm a circadian rhythm person. Um, but you can definitely make it work. And so, my vision, and one thing I think I had to really adjust to in online marketing slash networking, right, is I'm such a belly to belly person, right, which is funny because I always think of the Care Bears like sticking their bellies out. But I've been a big supporter of BNI, Business Networking International, which is in-person meetings and things that you do locally. And the more that I've been online, the more I can really use those types of skills that I have and that I learned in BNI online. It's the same, and I think people are getting more and more comfortable, and they're getting more and more comfortable with video.
Mm-hmm.
And while there's still that added layer of benefit in person, you can get a lot. That I'm paying attention to you, right? I'm not scrolling through something or like we do on the phone. So I think video demands that types of engagement. So
Mm-hmm.
my vision my vision is to keep this going, for as long as I want to. People, there's of course advantage to there's to having a community and being settled in one place, but I like to kind of visit and rotate through a few communities and then go visit something else and keep, I was joking with someone this weekend about, I've said if I could visit 200 countries and I could spend 200 cities, it might be, and 2 months in every place, I could be in 200 spots by the time I'm 91.
Wow.
So they were like, wow. And I really don't have the desire to do that until I'm 91 or visit that many places. But um, I think what it's turned, my business has turned into is empowering other people to do what I'm doing, so that remote how company, they're kind of more focused on the corporate angle, which is great. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm more focused on the self-employed, turning your side hustle into your main hustle. And I'm sure I'll have some other sort of project or gig or thing as we go through life, but the current business that I have, there's residual income with people continuing to order. I'm super passionate about sharing the nutrition program that that affected my life so deeply, and I know has affected others. So, there's no reason that I'll ever quit it, and showing people what they can do. It's been really cool to see and hear the feedback of somebody who is at kind of a more more towards retired age friend is going to jump to Mexico and start some business with his wife. And he said, seeing you do this inspired me. And obviously it's a different path and different, life circumstance, but yay. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
How
yeah. I mean,
awesome. So,
with social media, with emails, with you know, live videos, there's Zoom conference calling, there's so many ways to be connected to people across the globe that
mm-hmm.
there is no reason um, that if somebody had it on their heart that they wanted to, if they were thinking about something like this, where they're like, how could I create an income where I'm working online from wherever it is I want to be that will sustain my lifestyle? How
Mm-hmm.
could I possibly do that? And I think it's great to hear real life stories of people like you who are doing that. And you're having your 1 year anniversary of traveling the world, building your business from right now you're in Vietnam, and then you're going to be going to Cambodia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're coming back to Vietnam after that,
Yes,
right?
just
Yes.
a different city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to
So,
be in the mountains, which is cooler because yikes, we're reaching we're reaching Southeast Asia heat, which is a whole new education. Like I'm basically on a
yeah.
mission to buy as many outfits that I can wear without a bra. Because nobody needs to wear a bra in this kind of heat. But
Yeah.
anyway, I digress.
Hashtag goals. Yes. Yes. So what has been your biggest, so I'm sure some of you have maybe even considered something like this. What was one of the things that had you a little bit afraid to burn the bridge, as they say, to burn the boats, just to go for it? You quit your job, you took off. What was your biggest fear going into it? And how did that turn around for you over the year?
Um, I it's gonna sound bad, but I honestly didn't have any fear about it. Like
That's amazing.
I think maybe it's the life experience of going through the trauma and challenge of losing somebody close to me
Mm-hmm.
that that starts to make any other fears pale in
Mm-hmm.
comparison. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think for me, anytime, which I'm about to do it here, leaving friends and loved ones is, like I keep tabling that thought because I can't, it's hard for me. So, but like I said, we can stay connected. I think it's making the, and it kind of still is that I'll I'll run out. My business will start to fail and I'll run out of money and I'll have to come home. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean I come home periodically, but I think that's really still kind of, and that's somewhat of a driver is like, no, I'm going to do this. And that's kind of a nice circle of people being inspired that reignites me to make sure that I, you know, get my arse in gear and keep things afloat, you know?
Yeah, that's one of the things I find about being an online business owner, creator, creative, is the self motivation. You're in
Mm-hmm.
charge of yourself, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
stay on task with that sort of thing. So it is one of those things where it's like I could do whatever I wanted. No one's here to check in on me, but I have goals. I have things I want to accomplish. And I know you have really set goals for yourself that are super scary this
Mm-hmm.
year. And I'm so proud of you and how you're accomplishing that. If you guys aren't on Kendra's email list, I triple dog dare you to message Kendra and get on her email list. Every time those emails come into my inbox, I'm excited. I can't wait to open them.
Oh, thank
They're
you. I
super,
just sent
yeah,
one.
I know, I just saw it. It's sitting there. I'm looking at it right now going, I can't wait to get off this interview and read it.
Oh.
But they're always exciting. You ever guys, anybody ever have those kind of emails that come in your inbox and you're like, ooh, what did this person say? What are they going to tell me this time? Let me know in the comments if you guys have anyone who inspires you that way. And if you don't, you really need to message Kendra and get on her email list because she shares some, inspiring, traveling photos and
Mm-hmm.
foods and exercises. And if you like that sort of thing, you're going to want to tune into that. Okay, so let me know how you're building a team. You're building a team online, and how. Let me know how that is to. Have you seen your team grow because you have grown? Can you tell me a little bit about what that looks like?
Yeah, it's been neat because one, while all the time we can build in our particular business, we can build anywhere. We tend to gravitate more to just what's local, but in this, me being in Vietnam, it's like, well, I can, and time zones change, right? Sometimes it's better for me to talk to East Coast people, and sometimes it's easier to talk to West Coast people. So that's really kind of broadened, and, meeting international people. So, our company's in international markets, so that's a possibility for us. And so I think it's given me a much bigger, wider scope. And I also think, I specifically target self-motivated and driven individuals, and having the time zone to where I'm not available to you in the middle of your day because I'm asleep, because of my circadian rhythm, like I said, is, it's like, okay, we'll touch base. So, it keeps me working smarter and not harder, and
Right.
in the middle of my afternoon when everyone's asleep, I'm like, great, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to do what I want. So I think it kind of, that time zone thing forces that really being more efficient with when you're communicating and when you're getting things done, and attracting. It's been fun, just the people who are watching what I'm doing and have that inspiration, and of course people have all sorts of goals, right? It could be buying a vacation home or bigger home, or things that are more not in my wheelhouse, but especially for people who are driven to get out in the world and maybe try the nomad lifestyle, or not have to be stuck with that 2 to 3 weeks of vacation a year. That's where I really resonate, and it's fun to attract those people that have that fire like I do. So it's been good.
Yeah, I know. I know you connect a lot with other women who travel and do this type of lifestyle too. So it's, I know that you're building a tribe of travelers. So that's really cool. It's cool because so in the kind of business that we are in, you basically can connect with whatever kind of person you are. Like you can just connect with people online and meet people in person, and just kind of build a community of whoever you resonate with, right? That's what's really cool. And so what Kendra and I have been doing is we've been partnering up, and we have been leading a group called the 3-Day Side Hustle Experience. This is where we share with people what this is all about and how it's possible that Kendra is traveling the world, building an online business within her own schedule and on her own rhythm. And she's, able to choose her own lifestyle and make her own choices, and inspire others to do the same. So if you want to know more, we're going to wrap this up here. We would love to invite you to take a look at the 3-Day Side Hustle Experience and get exposed to what the different types of businesses are out there that, that afford people to have alternative lifestyles.
Bed
And then
bugs,
also what it
right?
looks bed bugs. Yes.
Who knew?
I mean, I know there are people who are spiritual coaches. There are people who are teaching yoga. There are people who are, teaching watercolor. There are people who, there's all types of people that are doing all kinds of things. And then we will also explain in the 3-Day Side Hustle Experience what we do personally and how we do it, and how, if you are interested in creating a residual income, that you establish a customer base, and you continue to grow that. That will afford you to be able to have a business model where people continue to order products because they run out. It's called consumable products, and this gives you a way to count on a monthly income that just starts to grow and grow and grow. Yeah, But it's based on your efforts. It's based on what you do and how you choose to do it. And you've been doing it for 9 years and 1 year digitally around the
Yes.
world. Yes.
Yes.
So that's why we're here.
Nomadically.
So, yeah. So if there was anyone listening to this, Kendra, and you wanted to give them some advice, if they were thinking about what is possible for themselves, if they've been wondering in their mind, they're thinking to themselves, I don't want to do this 9 to 5 thing anymore. I don't want, is this it? Is this all there is for me? What is one piece of advice for that person who is on the fence, wondering if they have it in them to make something like what you're doing possible?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is why not now? And of course, there's tons of reasons, right? You've got overhead, you've got bills, you might have kids, you might have, so I get that there's lots of reasons why not now for some people. But there's usually, we all have chapters in our lives. Kids grow up and, you sell houses and things can shift around. And so what can you do now to start building towards doing, a nomadic chapter or whatever chapter, and like, yeah, because I have been doing this for a long time. So it wasn't like I thought, okay, where do I start from scratch? Once I was in Mexico, what can I do? Which is it's still possible, but if you start, building something alongside what you're doing, you're just giving yourself more choices for the future. And if that future starts in 6 months or 6 years, that's okay. You're still, building towards that. So, yeah, I definitely would encourage people to think ahead. One thing that's been said in a bunch of trainings is in this life, we have to prepare for impact. And I was talking to someone else in their 40s last night. And we're like, one of the things about being in your 40s, especially for most people, is that you've had a couple instances of impact in your life. You've had, there was a financial fallout 10 years ago. We've probably lost loved ones. You might have been divorced. You might, there's usually been some impact. And those are the things that was harder to see when you're 22. But when you start to see those firsthand affect you and your family, you start to think, oh, okay, we better get ready because, this life is going to throw a few more curveballs at us before we're finished. I can guarantee you that. So, yeah, I think zooming out and looking at the big picture will help fire you up to do something now.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I totally agree. I'm seeing a lot of people even older than us realizing that, they didn't save probably enough for even retirement. And they're seeing how this is an option, to be able to stay retired and still create something for themselves. So I totally echo what you're saying. And just, being self-reliant, doesn't that just feel like incredible? Like you are in charge of what happens to you. And, I think most of us are afraid of the unknown, right? And I love it that you just went out there and you figured it out and you decided there was no going back for you. So I just want to celebrate that. And if everyone could share a little bit of love, a little hearts going across the screen, celebrating Kendra's 1 year anniversary.
Can I do
Yay,
my own heart?
Yes, yeah, you can.
Yay! We love ourselves,
Share
Michelle.
some love. Oh, yay! Yay! So I'm proud of you. I'm really, really proud of you, and I see big things coming for you. I know that with our Keep It Simple system and all the people that we're training to do the same thing that we're doing, we're going to see a lot more people having more freedom, and it's going to be cool. So I can't wait to see you next year.
Yes.
I'll interview you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
well,
you're
cheers
welcome.
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. If you would like to, take a look at the 3-day side hustle experience and figure out, is this something that's like pinging on your heart right now where you're like, how are people doing this? We will hook you up. We'll let you know how that works.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your evening and the rest of your day. day. Bye now.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.